Today was a great day. Got a couple workouts in, felt good about those, and things are looking up. Diet's going well. So my wife even said she noticed my stomach going down. Yeah, buddy, it's on. It's on. Told her the scale ain't reflecting that still, but hey, if she's seeing it, it's all that matters, because she sees me all the time. So right, it's kind of like one of those things, like when you see somebody all the time, you don't necessarily notice the changes in them, but there's got to be a significant enough change for her to see it. So feeling up about that, you know what I mean? But today I had posted, remember, people depend on you. And this is something I've kind of talked about before, or touched on prior, but I don't know if we realize the magnitude of when we say people depend on us. My wife depends on me to take care of my stuff, right? She depends on me to be a man of my word. She depends on me to follow through with the things that I say, and you know what I mean? Like, and my kids depend on those same things, right? They depend that I'm gonna pay the bills and there's gonna be a roof over their head and food in the fridge, right? Like, they depend on those things. And I don't know if we understand the magnitude of the things that we try to do in our lives, and the demand, or the necessity for us in people's lives, right? Like, people depend on us for lots of things, right? One of the guys posted today, or put it when I posted, and he goes, in more ways than you think, right? Because he feeds people, right? Like, he runs a food bank and people get fed by him, and people depend on him being there every week with food to make sure that for some of these families that there's going to be food on their table for the next couple days. And I don't know, like, it's huge to realize, like, there's people that depend on us, especially those of us that deal with ailments or sicknesses or diseases. Like, my family depends on me doing the things that I need to do to better my life and to take care of me. They depend on my spiritual health and my spiritual development. They depend on me to do step work to flush out the garbage inside of me that causes me to do some of the dumb stuff that I do, to help with my mental health, and and if I take medication for mental health, then they depend on me to be on my medication, right, to be as healthy as possible. And I think some of us take that for granted. Like, we want to take days off from that stuff, or we want to act like it's no big deal to not do something one day, to not work out, or to not take our medication, or to not go to that meeting, or to not do our reading, or to not do some writing, or to not call somebody and ask for some guidance. Like, it's okay to make decisions for ourselves. And we've learned over past experience that our thinking is not our friend, right? One of the things I always talk about with people is, like, you've done more damage to you than anybody, right? You do not love you. But we tell ourselves that we only trust ourselves, but we do more damage to ourselves than anybody. And so it's like, how do I put myself in a better position in order to be dependent upon to come through like I know I can? Because what am I going to do, right? Like, the thing I hate the most when people fail is, well, I'm human, or you knew I was an addict before you started hanging out with me or messing with me. No, man, that's an excuse. That's a cop-out. That's what that is. That's a cop-out, right? To say, oh, you knew I was human. Man, miss me with that. Do better, right? And my sponsor used to always say, if you know where better is, get there, right? Don't make no excuse for why you're not where you're supposed to be. Because if we know where there is, we need to get there. We need to do the work necessary to get there. Why? Because the people depend on us, man. People depend on me to be the best version of me. People depend on me to take care of my stuff, right? Just like I told you when I first started this thing, I had one of my sponsees, one of the guys that I work with, say, you cannot fail. Don't fail. I'm watching you, right? I'm watching you do this, so I can't have you fail me, right? And I said, I got you, bro. It's good. I got you, right? People are watching. They're depending on us to become the things that we need to be. And because our word, I tell people all the time, man, your word is all you got, right? And so if I can't trust your word, then what am I going to trust? Because I don't want you around me if I can't trust what you say. If I can't trust that I know what you're going to do, I don't want you in my space, right? And that's why we talk about there's winners and losers, right? And that's a real factual thing. And I know people get upset when we call some people losers, but they're losers, right? People who don't follow through and who want to quit and give up. They're chumps, they're losers. And I'll be the first one to tell you that you're a loser if you do that. You know what I mean? And I only want to surround myself with winners. I only want to surround myself with people who are constantly trying to improve themselves. I don't even want to stay where I was at yesterday. I want to constantly get better. I want to get better. Why? Because people need me to get better, right? The disease is progressive. It's progressive. So my recovery and who I am and my relationship with my higher power need to be progressive, because I can't run on old information. I can't. And when I try to run on old information, it's like not having the update on your phone, right? Your phone can't do all the things it needs to do because you haven't updated it. And so when you wonder why your phone ain't working, it's because you haven't updated it, right? You're running on old software when the things that are around it that are trying to make the phone not work are progressing. Why would you not update your phone? And so it's like, I think about like my life, right? And my wife used to use this little scale thing. She used to say, you know, when we first met, I was up here and you were down here. I don't know if you guys can, let me see. You're down here and I was up here. She goes, and over time, as you started to do work on you, things started to change, right? She goes, and all of a sudden we started to switch spaces, and now you were up here and I was down here. And I told my wife, you tripping. I'm never above you, right? Like, you're so far ahead of me in who you are. Like, I reached for you, right? Like, you had to settle in order to allow me to be your husband and your boyfriend and the man that's in your life, right? Now, granted, I've done a lot of work to try to keep up with you and catch up, but you were long, far beyond anything I could ever imagine for myself, right? And so there had to be some semblance of settling that she had to do in order to allow me even space into her world. But like, we run neck and neck, right? We bring the best. My hope is that we bring the best out of each other. You know what I mean? Because she depends on me to be the man that I need to be for her. I depend on her. You know what I mean? I depend on her to be my wife and to do the things that she's supposed to do as my wife. And you know what I mean? Like, and to help support me and to uplift me and to respect. Like, I need that from her. And so it's like, what does it look like for us to depend on one another in such a way that we constantly are improving upon each other, right? We're pushing each other to get to the next stage of evolution, right? Because we can't stay where we are, even in our relationship, right? Our relationship has to constantly be evolving too. And my relationship with my kids has to be evolving. My relationship with myself and my God and my recovery have to be evolving, and because people are depending on it, right? Like, who wants old information? It always cracks me up, like when kids want to talk to their grandparents about things they think, and then like grandparents are always giving them like that old school information from like the 50s and the 60s, right? And well, at least now it'll be like the 90s. They'll be like, Grandpa, this ain't the 90s no more, right? Because the things, the ways kids think today has changed, right? And it's different. And so like, even the way I look at things from the way kids are today has changed. And so it's like, they're depending on me to keep up though, because they need good information, right? They need solid information. And so how do I keep up? Well, I got to keep doing the work in order to stay hip with what's happening around me. Not hip like I need to dress cool, but hip like I need to be aware of the world around me and how it's operating and the things that are happening, and be able to speak into it properly. And so I think it's really important to let people know that there's people depending on you, right? Even if you don't have kids, man, your parents are depending on you. They're depending on you to be the child that you need to be for them, because one day they're going to need you to wipe their butt the same way they wiped your butt. You know what I mean? And so like, how do we get better, right? The congregations that I preach to or that I speak to, they depend on me to bring a proper message, right? They depend on me to live a proper way, so that I can be a man of my word and say and mean the things that I say, not just be parroting something and have no clue what that looks like to be lived out. And so I just wanted to challenge everybody today, man, that people are depending on you. Because tomorrow I'm going to talk about they're watching, right? Like, people are watching you. But like, they depend on you. And we depend on each other. I need the people around me to be constantly getting better. I need them to be getting better, because it moves me to a position to get better. I don't want people who are stagnant, who are staying in the same place that they've always been. That's not good. I need people who want to escalate elevate their lives and get to a higher place, right? And so I don't know if anybody's told you today, but God loves you and so do I. I hope you have a great day and God bless you.